As part of Forge Ireland's supports on driving domestic sales, creating compelling content, this video takes you through imagery that engages and sells. In this video, I'll talk you through great composition, how to create imagery that evokes emotion, how to take high-quality images with your smartphone, and how to elevate your photos so that they stand out and entice people to book with you. It's been a while since many of us have had a holiday, and now consumer sentiment shows that more than half of us are planning a short break in Ireland. Forge Ireland research shows that images are the strongest motivating factor when people are deciding to go on holidays. Once they've made their decision, they watch videos to get ideas about what to do during their trip. If you'd like inspiration about what kind of content will entice people to book with you in the COVID era, have a look at the video supports on optimizing direct sales conversions through digital with own brand web, which are also available as part of these supports. The internet doesn't allow us to have a sensory experience, but visuals enable you to give an indication of what people will see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. They also allow you to create an emotional experience for viewers by giving them a sense of the atmosphere, which is specific to each of your target audiences. An image like this one would work if you were aiming to attract a family because they don't need to social distance. One of the key emotional needs in this era is connectedness, which this image conveys beautifully. Another emotional need, and this one is particular to the COVID era, is reassurance. People need to feel reassured that safety protocols are being adhered to and that they can enjoy their holiday with peace of mind. This is a fantastic example of reassurance content. This photograph is from the restaurant area in a zoo in Japan. In order to ensure that guests maintain a social distance from one another, an army of stuffed animals were deployed to occupy seats that were not meant to be used. Children think this is great fun, and adults feel comfortable knowing they are eating in safety. If you would like to learn more about creating content that meets the emotional needs of customers, watch the video on video content that engages and sells, which is also part of this suite of supports. One of the things to pay attention to is the header image on your website and all of your social channels. This can also be called a banner image or a cover image. The photo you have up there might have been taken pre-COVID, and therefore, if it's of a crowded pub, restaurant, or function room, it won't convey that you are fully aware of all protocols in this new era and that you are, in fact, creating a safe environment for your customers. This photograph is from a pub in Mount Eden, Auckland, New Zealand, and it shows good social distancing in this header website image. So let's take a look at some more examples to get ideas and inspiration for engaging in persuasive content in the COVID era, like this amazing photo of socially distanced stuffed animals. This is an example from Langton's House Hotel in Kilkenny, and it shows that the chefs are wearing masks and gloves, which is reassuring to potential visitors. One thing to focus on, though, when showing safety protocols is to try to keep the tone light and the atmosphere positive. Here's a lovely example of a light-hearted atmosphere from Bowtown Burger Restaurant in Galway on the Wild Atlantic Way. All of their social posts have a sense of fun about them. In this picture, they are celebrating the manager's birthday, and you can see how far apart the staff members are from each other. This creates a sense of reassurance without having to mention social distancing. By the way, don't forget to post all about all of the fun things you used to share before the pandemic. Birthdays, anniversaries, friends celebrating valuable friendships, anything that creates a sense of joy. Sometimes you will need to highlight safety features in a photo. For example, Dan Murphy's Irish pub in Amsterdam shared this photo, which shows new plexiglass panels in front of the bar, with a gap for serving drinks, of course. So when you need to show safety features, include a happy person in the photo to create a positive mood. One way to take the focus off the safety feature in a photo, in this case gloves, is to tell a story. The purpose of this image, which is another one from Bowtown, is to tell customers that they are appreciated and that they will be rewarded with a little pot of sweeties. So this is what the viewers will focus on rather than the gloves. And from appreciation of customers to appreciation of local businesses. Consumers have been shopping locally for months due to the travel restrictions, and companies are being encouraged to seek innovative ways to persuade people to support other local businesses. This is a great example from Hodgins Hair Design in Drogheda. They use a receipt to show that there are lots of ways to support other local businesses that don't cost anything, such as giving positive reviews, word of mouth, and engaging with them on social media. Here's another great example from Hodgins. It's a story born out of the fact that businesses were forced to suspend trading for a few months, but it's a very funny image, and it creates a warm fuzzy feeling towards this hair design business, which bore its burden of closure with grace and good humour. And I love this one, which was shared by Blas Restaurant in Portumna. I have no idea how they came up with a joke that was so funny it made the coffee smile, but it's a brilliant piece of content originally from the Death Wish Coffee Company. Everyone needs a smile, especially during these difficult times. So if you can show people that you'll make them smile, they'll want to come and spend time in your coffee shop or restaurant or at your activity centre. So now that we've looked at inspirational ideas for great content, let's dive deeper into how to create amazing images. What makes a photo great? Well, the foundation for a great photograph is composition. Many people tend to place the subject of photographs in the centre, and while there are no hard and fast rules of composition, it's more creative to use the rule of thirds. This means you divide the frame into 9 equal rectangles, 3 across and 3 down, as you see here. You won't see these lines on your screen unless your camera has that functionality, so you just estimate where they would be. The idea is to place the important elements of the scene along the vertical or horizontal lines or where the lines intersect, like the Clonmacnoise Tower in Ireland's ancient East and the horizon line in this image. Placing them off-centre using the rule of thirds leads to a more attractive and interesting composition. Another great technique is called the frame within a frame. What this means is that you find something within the image to frame the item that you'd like to draw attention to. The bridge and its reflection create a gorgeous round frame here, almost emulating the lens of a camera. This is an effective way to portray depth in a scene. Look for elements such as windows or arches or overhanging branches to frame the scene with. The frame does not necessarily have to surround the entire scene. Even a partial frame creates an interesting composition. There are often many elements featured in a photograph, and the viewer may not immediately know what's the most important element. One way to be sure that people notice the part of the image you want them to is to have only that part in sharp focus and the rest of the image out of focus. This directs our eyes in these images to the delicious food in the image on the left and to the man and his grandson in the photo on the right, rather than the boat they are fascinated with. Another way to guide the viewer's attention is the use of leading lines. These are lines that draw the viewer's gaze to the most important element of the scene. For example, in this photograph, our attention is drawn to the man who is walking on the path and also to his destination. And leading lines don't have to be straight. In fact, curved lines can result in a very creative composition to a photo. It's very useful to change your perspective too. Instead of always taking photos at eye level, why not have a look at the point of view that a high angle or a low angle gives you? The high angle in this climbing shot elevates the feeling of danger that the climber is experiencing. Being able to see this huge drop allows the viewer to experience the tension that the risk creates. And the low angle picture of the woman reading the book in the long room at Dublin's Trinity College creates a sense of the magnitude of the literary geniuses whose books are on the shelves behind her. Colours are one of the key factors in creating the mood of a picture. Cool colours like blue, green and white evoke a sense of calmness. So if you run a wellness spa or provide gentle cruises down the Shannon in Ireland's hidden heartlands, this is the palette that will work for you. However, if your business is an activity centre or a festival, warm colours such as red, yellow and orange will create an atmosphere of energy, excitement and even risk. The most captivating photos are those with people in them. People connect with other people. And to make it even more compelling, include dramatic action. If you want to take great action shots, you have 2 options. One is to use a fast shutter speed to freeze the action, such as this shot of the kids mid-air jumping into the water. And the other option is to use a slow shutter speed. This will create a blur which accentuates the speed of the train, car or plane. Details of how to achieve this are in the technical tips download that accompanies this video. One crucial thing to remember though is that you need signed release forms for people and locations that appear in your photos. These are effectively contracts that govern what permissions you've agreed with people who appear in your images and those who own locations featured in your images. If you are photographing children, a parent or guardian must sign the release form. The release form should ensure that you and third parties associated with your business can use it for tourism promotion and sales purposes, if possible in perpetuity across all media, public and private. It's really important to understand your obligations in relation to processing people's personal data and that you comply fully with GDPR regulations. If you would like to use someone else's photographs on your website or social platforms, you'll need to ensure that you have the correct license to use them, that you're not breaching the copyright of the rights holder. All of these issues, GDPR, release forms and copyright, are complex, but we've provided more information about them in the technical tips download that supports this video. So now that you know what a great picture looks like, how do you go about taking one with your smartphone? The amount of detail that a camera can capture is called the resolution, and it's measured in pixels. The more pixels a camera has, the more detail it can capture, and the larger pictures can be without becoming blurry or grainy. So a 12 megapixel camera captures images that are comprised of 12 million little dots. A larger number of dots or pixels in an image means that the image has more definition and clarity, which is also referred to as having a higher resolution. Details of how to set the resolution on smartphones is in the technical tips download, which is part of this suite of supports. As I mentioned earlier, ensuring that the most important detail in your photo is in sharp focus is the way to get viewers to notice it. The autofocus function on your smartphone camera is likely to be very good at picking out faces, but if there are no faces in the picture, it will probably focus in the center of the scene. If you're using the rule of thirds, the most important detail won't be in the center. So the way you make the camera understand what to focus on is by tapping the important object on the screen, in this case, the largest flower. In photography, exposure means how bright or dark your pictures appear. If you expose the photo correctly, you'll capture high levels of detail in both the shadowed areas and the highlight areas, which are the brighter regions of the image. On a smartphone, the exposure of your photo is linked to what's in focus. To adjust the exposure, tap on the subject of your picture and a slider will appear with a sun symbol. Then slide your finger up and down to adjust the exposure. A key thing to remember is that it's better to underexpose. If it's too dark, you can fix it in post-processing, but if areas of it are too bright or overexposed, you'll never be able to retrieve the detail in those areas. When you're taking a photo from a distance, it's tempting to zoom in on the subject you're trying to capture, but it's better not to use the digital zoom on your smartphone because it will make the photo appear grainy, blurry, or pixelated. Instead, try to get closer to your subject or take the photo from a distance and crop it later. That way you won't compromise the quality of the image. There are some general things that you should always take into account when taking photographs. Always ensure your lens is clean of finger marks and dust. And use a tripod, especially in low light conditions, or you'll end up with blurry images. Use natural light where possible and ensure the subject isn't backlit by having the light source behind them. However, no matter how hard you tried, sometimes your photos won't turn out quite as well as you'd hoped, but many photography mistakes can be fixed. Some examples include a wonky horizon, that is, if your horizon looks like it's tilting upwards instead of being horizontal, like the photo on the top left here. Another issue is white balance, which means the camera didn't record white as true white. Instead, it's got a colour tint that makes it look unnatural. See the photo on the top right, in which the snow looks bluish. Or maybe you want to remove an unsightly object from your photo, like the telegraph pole and electricity wires in the bottom photo. Well, the good news is that for every problem, there's an app that can solve it. Some of these include Snapseed, TuneUp, the Remove Object app on Android, or the Photoshop Fix app on iPhone. For details on all of these apps and instructions on how to fix the problems covered here, take a look at the technical tips download that accompanies this video. So what if there's nothing wrong with your photo, but you want to make it stand out on social? There are many ways to do that. I'm going to touch on 3 here, using filters to change the mood of a photo, elevating the story through captions, and using colour popping to add drama. Many of you watching will be very familiar with adding a filter to a photo because it's one of the most popular functionalities for elevating photos on a smartphone. Filters can enhance the look of your photo in many ways, including making colours more vivid, adding drama to the story, or changing it to classic black and white. Filters can also change the style of an image by giving a cathedral a gothic look or a historic sepia tone. Each of these filters would influence the target market of the photo. If you would like to get more help on developing a brand aesthetic or a mood board for your Instagram images in particular, I would advise you to watch the video on Getting Instagram Right, which is available as part of the supports on boosting sales with social media. The second technique for elevating photos is to add a caption that deepens the story. This image on the left is a powerful photo of a couple making a connection with history by placing their palms on an ancient tombstone. The caption, "Feel the hand of history," gives us a sense of how they are feeling, as well as adding poetry to the artistry of the story. The photo on the right is a very dramatic image because of the arms out stance of the subject and the danger of standing on a high rock beneath a waterfall. It gives the impression that the energy of the photo is outward and that the connection with nature is heightened. However, the caption, "The further I go, the closer to me I get," is in sharp contrast. It suggests that the energy is directed inwardly and that the person is finding a deeper connection with their true selves. This contrast adds great depth to the story. There are many apps for adding captions to photos, including Snapseed, WordSwag for iPhone, or PicLab for Android. Colour popping is a very eye-catching way to draw attention to what's important in a photo, and also to make your photo stand out on social media. Colour popping can be done through Snapseed, which could become your favourite app due to its extensive functionality. So, some final tips. Shoot at the highest quality so that you can crop or downsize the photo without losing quality. Play around with all of the modes and settings on your camera and practice as much as you can with focus, exposure, and all the other settings until it becomes second nature to you. Take multiple shots. Even professional photographers take lots of shots of the same image and then select the best one. And finally, get creative. Use techniques like captions, colour popping, and filters to elevate your photos. If you need any additional video clips or photographs to supplement your own, Ireland's Content Pool is a centralised online library of free promotional images, videos, and other marketing assets. It's a joint initiative between Fáilte Ireland, Tourism Ireland, and Tourism Northern Ireland, and there are more than 40,000 assets on the system for you to use to promote your tourism business through your own marketing activity. As soon as you register your details on irelandscontentpool.com, you can begin downloading high-quality assets to bring your tourism-related content to life. You could use this new Imagery to update your business listing through the Get Listed form on the Fáilte Ireland website, or add it if you're not already on there. Your business listing will then display on our consumer sites. You will find this form on fáilteireland.ie. The technical tips download to support this video is located here on the Fáilte Ireland website. Please find the full suite of supports that relate to this video under Driving Domestic Sales. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this useful.